Welcome in, guys. Happy Friday. Super Bowl weekend coming up. We got the big game on Sunday. Really quick, as always, if you haven't yet, subscribe below. And hey, drop a comment. Let me know who you think's winning the big game this weekend. If you have any special props you're looking at, go ahead and drop those below as well. Interested to see what your guys' thoughts are in the comments here. Let's talk a little bit about last night really quick. We go 2-1 on the night. Left you guys with the free bet of the Brooklyn Nets. Told you, though, it was the deadline. We were adding bets late, and we ended up getting on the Dallas Mavericks. Jalen Brunson ruled out. Shout out our boy Dante DiVincenzo. 36 last night. Covers a 30-plus point prop. Covers the 35-plus point prop as well. He keeps on cooking for us. And the other winner we had, Lakers, second half, -1.5. Didn't want to bet on the pregame. Want to see what was all going on before the deadline. D'Lo gets ruled out. Get a nice price of them at halftime. And really, it was lucky backdoor in a sense. I mean, we were 104, 2 to go. Thought you were straight. Never seen a game pulled away that quick. I talk about NBA runs like nobody else, but damn, 10-0 run from Denver, and we were right back into problems. Luckily, LeBron last-minute bucket, and we're all right to go for the second half cover. So those were our two winners last night, up a little bit, a couple of units. And my man John can't join us again today. He is working. I did speak with him a bit this morning about the card today, obviously, but he is too sick to be coming up here on the podcast. So unfortunately, he won't be joining me. But that's all good. We're going to be running through the Super Bowl matchup coming up on Sunday, and we're going to be running through this NBA slate. Let's go ahead and dive on in. Chiefs, Niners. My goodness, what a football game we have coming our way. You guys know I was back in August, Ravens was the future for me, plus 2,000, plus 1,800. A couple tickets on them, and was touting that all season long. And all season long, I said the only team who could knock them off was Kansas City. And what happened, Kansas City? And why is that? Kansas City, best defense in the NFL, best quarterback in the NFL. That is enough to get it done. That is the Brady Belichick mold of building a dynasty. Once you pay out your QB, pay out your defense, not going to have much money left for weapons. Going to have to, find some first rounders, find some draft picks, see what you can make work. And that's what the Chiefs have done this season. The wide receivers, problems all year long. And they come around and figure it out come the playoff time just enough because this defense has been phenomenal. San Francisco, best roster in football. Absolutely no doubt about it. Only problem is best roster in football with the weakest link being their quarterback, Brock Purdy. Yes, he's a decent QB, but I guarantee you, if he wasn't on an absolute juggernaut roster, he would not look like a decent quarterback. We're interested to see how he does in this big game today. He's very, very sloppy in his first couple of playoff games against bad defenses. I mean, yes, they put up points there against Detroit. They got it figured out eventually. He had multiple balls, though, in that game that should have been picked off. I mean, first off, that Ayuk catch should have been picked off. Even before he had the first interception, he had one that should have been picked off. Against Green Bay, multiple balls that should have been picked off. And that is a Green Bay defense, by the way. They only put up 24 points. That's a Green Bay defense that allowed Tommy DeVito to become the player of the week again. So I want you to think about that. Tommy fucking Cutlets got player of the week against that Green Bay defense. And Niners, out of a bye at home, struggle with that matchup. So that's kind of what we have as far as some of these games coming in. Let's talk a bit more about the numbers with those games. This Kansas City team, man, and their defense, so many people, keep saying, oh, Kansas City's lost a step. They have on the offensive side of the ball, but this is the best defense Patty Mahomes has ever played along with, and he just has to get to that 2024 marker offensively. I mean, look what they've done. 5 straight wins, 5 straight covers, allowing 14 points per game. And 3 of those 5 teams, top 5 offenses. Baltimore, top 5 offense. Miami, top 5 offense. I know there was snow. Don't worry. Or bad weather. Don't freak out on me. Buffalo, top 5 offense. So really tremendous defense. Kansas City getting it all fronts. And it starts with the secondary. Elite secondary. Pretty solid pass rush as well. Not quite as elite as last season, but really good. I mean, McDuffie and Snead, fantastic secondary. And that's why all season long, they were top in the NFL as far as passing yards allowed. Part of what has made them so dominant, allowing just 176.5 passing yards per game. They absolutely shut down Miami and Buffalo's passing game. Buffalo able to run for 180, but when it got late into the game where they were forced to start throwing the football, they couldn't get up and down the field. Baltimore, I don't know what the hell. 6 rushing attempts for your running backs. Ridiculous for the leading rushing team. When they played KC a few years back, they rushed for 250 on them. It's like they wanted to beat them through the passing game. We all know how that worked out. It didn't. And then if you look at San Francisco, that's where it's going to be very fascinating. How much are they going to ride Christian McCaffrey? And is it going to be a situation similar to Buffalo, similar to Baltimore, where KC has a lead enough of the game? At one point, they're going to have to become pass heavy. They're going to be playing from behind and force Brock Purdy to beat them. Very interested to see if that's how this gameplay plays out. Now, San Francisco, they've been terrific this season with a lead. Problem is the postseason, they haven't been getting out to lead. So obviously the coin toss, if they defer, they don't defer. Going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Some of the trends here, guys. Third time in history, NFL defending Super Bowl champs come back to the Super Bowl and are an underdog. The prior two Super Bowl defending champs, underdogs, both lost. And another similar trend, something like that for San Francisco. They're the first team to make the playoffs without covering spreads in the first team to make the Super Bowl without covering the spreads in the playoffs since the 2007 Patriots. Yes, that Patriots team that ended up losing to the Giants in the Super Bowl. So some trends, I guess you could say, to argue against. Obviously, those are all matchup dependent. Everything's, years ago. So there's just a couple of random trends there for you. As far as teams who come in hot, Chiefs, 5 straight wins, 5 straight covers, and they're going up against a team who is not on and against the spread streak. They are 5-2 straight up, 6-0-1 against the spread in the 7 Super Bowls. You have a team coming in with 5 straight more covers against a team who's not. Let's talk about some of these props, guys. By the way, let's back up a bit. Total, under. That's my look on this game, okay? I have a lean to Kansas City. If I had to bet a side, it would be Kansas City. John hasn't made a bet on this game yet. He will, and I'm pretty sure I know where he's going, but I'm not going to spill the teas on that. But, usually John wants to beat the number, beat the game, this and that. Super Bowl, this line's not moving. We've seen 47.5, 47 on the total. We've seen 2, 1.5, 2.5. Really anything right there in that range, pretty much the same shit come Super Bowl time. So John will have a bet, but not jumping out, wants all the information, wants all he can get on this before the game gets kicked off. Total, guys. Let's look at the under in this game. You guys have heard me talk about Kansas City's defense. Niners defense is no joke either. 3rd in points allowed this season. Didn't look the best against Green Bay and Detroit. But this Patrick Mahomes offense, it has taken a step down. So it's going to be, in my opinion, a very low-scoring game. I see this being 20-17 KC, 21-17, in that ballpark. I don't even know if we pass 40. Maybe it's in that 24-20 range. I feel that, this Kansas City offense, let's go there. How many times did it shut out in the second half this season? They were shut out in the second half versus Baltimore as well. Their goal is to get a lead and ride the coattails of their defense in the backstretch of this game. Meanwhile, if you're San Francisco, I'd be very concerned trying to force the passing game too early. I would be looking to ride McCaffrey as much as you can in this game. I would be looking at the 2 situations that Kansas City's coming off of, where they absolutely shut down Baltimore, and where they were in Buffalo. Buffalo had some success, but where was that success? On the ground. So Chiefs, I feel like, are going to be not allowing the run game in a sense, but that's what they're going to allow the run game to get going, I guess. They don't want that, the deep balls. They don't want Debo and Ayuk to get crazy on them. They don't want to give up the big plays. They'll give up the chunk yardage. So McCaffrey's props, I think it's worth a look here, even more so at his receptions even. Going to be a lot of checkdowns. This pass rush going to cause some problems. The secondary going to be covering up, very elite secondary, and it's going to lead to some checkdowns. I don't love the McCaffrey yards just because it's so damn juiced. Anytime you're looking to bet overs on yards in a Super Bowl, typically more than not juiced. I lean to the under on both QBs passing yards. So I like the under on the game, but I lean to the under on both QBs passing yards. Mahomes hasn't been lighting it up. 3 playoff games, 718 yards, 4 TDs, 0 INT. He's been very clean against Baltimore. One of the best passing defense, led the league in sacks, led the league in forced turnovers. He was very good, 30 for 39 in that game. So he's accurate, but again, small chump yardage, picking it up, gathering, slowly getting up the field. It's going to be something similar here. Now, the San Francisco defense, they have some problems in the secondary. We saw Jordan Love expose it. We saw Goff expose it. And that carries over into a little bit of their problems with the ground game. Now, when your secondary is a bit lackluster, your middle field, your linebackers are going to be worrying a little bit. They're going to play more zone coverage. It's going to allow you to be able to get the ground game going. We saw that with Detroit. We saw that with Aaron Jones. So going to be interesting to see if Pacheco also gets going on the ground. I have a feeling he will, but I like the Patty Mahomes rushing yards a bit more in this one. We all know what he does, escape artist, scrambling like a genius, and plays a bit more timid, I feel, regular season most of the time. What was it? No touchdowns in the regular season this year. I believe that was the first for Patrick Mahomes. I think there is some value at his plus 400 rushing prop or touchdown prop, but a bit more value there with just him on the rushing yards in itself. And I like the rushing yards, really the rushing props across the whole. Pacheco, Mahomes, McCaffrey, even Purdy. We saw him scramble a little bit in that last game. And I feel like his line a bit overlay now, just a bit of a overreaction from that. But yeah, unders on the passing yards, both QBs. I don't think we're going to be seeing a shootout. It feels like a low-scoring game. This Kansas City offense hasn't been elite. They haven't been absolutely torching teams, but their defense, quite the contrary, absolutely elite. We saw San Fran struggle against some pretty bad NFC North defenses, and now he's going to have to go through a very, very, very tough Kansas City defense. By the way, guys, if you guys tune in often, you guys have heard me say this. The NFC is here. The AFC is up here. Talk about your best 6-7 quarterbacks. AFC. You want to go Burrow, Lamar, Mahomes, Josh Allen. The list goes on. Tua, whoever you want. Best quarterbacks in the NFL, AFC. What is your best NFC quarterback? Matt Stafford. That's what you were talking about here. So it's levels to this. San Francisco in the season against AFC opponents, just 2-3. Really not impressive games these last two. But as far as their defense, their pass rush, it could become absolutely elite in this game. And that's the one thing that worries me a little bit about backing KC. Super Bowl against Tampa Bay a few years ago. I mean, Mahomes, give him credit, was making terrific throws despite the pressure. But, man, the pressure was too much to overcome. That is the only way San Francisco's the secondary can't get it done. We saw them can't stop the run against Jones and Gibbs and Montgomery. I imagine they're going to have a hard time stopping the run in this game as well. But if they can get the pass rush going, just like Tampa Bay, if Chase Young, Nick Bosa, Greenlaw and company, if they can be elite for one game and shut down, that is the path to victory defensively from the San Francisco team. End of the day, guys, I like the under on this football game. Typically, Super Bowls are under games. We were on the over last season. How could you not be with those two offenses? But like in the under on this one, you have this KC defense playing phenomenal. And if I had to give you a side on this game, it's the Kansas City Chiefs. I've been low on San Francisco all season long. And I've continuously said the market is off on San Francisco. Everybody, Vegas, John, whoever you want to put it, the market is off on San Francisco. They've been 3 points off against Green Bay. They're 3 points off against Detroit. They haven't covered 5. I mean, the market has been off on San Francisco. They've been valuing them for what they did in the first half of the season as if they're doing that now. And they're just simply not. And, if you guys have seen the movie Moneyball, this is going to feel a little bit Moneyball-esque. But, at the very end of Moneyball, when they come to, the realization they lose to the Yankees again, he's like, you can't reinvent baseball. It's not just numbers, blah, blah, blah. Sure, you can have some success, but you can't do it. You can't win the whole thing. You can't reinvent football. Look at the last 25 years. Look at how many of those Super Bowls are with elite quarterbacks. At the end of the day, it takes elite quarterbacks to win in this league. Yes, they have the best roster in football, but a very mediocre quarterback. And maybe this is Brock Purdy's Nick Foles run. Maybe he's going to be the Eli Manning to Tom Brady that he is to Mahomes. Maybe that's all true. But at the end of the day, if we're talking about Patrick Mahomes, who's now been to, 4 Super Bowls in the last 5 years, if we're talking about a guy who everyone likes to say is going to, go on to compete with Brady as far as the championships down the line, he's going to make it to 8, 9, 10 Super Bowls. Is he going to have a winning percentage in those 8, 9, 10 Super Bowls? Is he going to go 6-4, 7-3, 5-3, whatever it might be? I'm not going to be betting against Patrick Mahomes in the big game. I won't do it. AFC's been better all year. At the end of the day, San Francisco has the better roster. Chiefs bring the better quarterback and the better defense, and New England proved that for 20 years that is enough to win in this league. I won't go against it. So I'm on the under in this game. Lean to the side, Kansas City Chiefs. Really interested to hear what you guys all have to say. And of course, if you guys want to know the man himself, John Massa, what he's got on the weekend on this game, make sure you guys sign up on the app or the website, massaedge.com, or download the Massa Edge app. Let's talk about this NBA slate, guys. Got a good amount of games coming. Actually, a pretty short card. 6 games here. Bigger card going on tomorrow. Obviously, a light card on Sunday. We can go ahead and dive on through this slate. Let's see here. Atlanta Hawks at the Philadelphia 76ers. Atlanta coming off a game they cover at Boston, but don't win. Murray didn't play. He's questionable. Capella, he's out. Philly, they have not looked good without Embiid. They're now, 4-12 on the season without Embiid, 1-4 in 5 home games. As far as their last 8 overall, 1-7, 2-6 against the spread. 76ers, they acquired Buddy Hield, campaign. They get rid of Pat Beverly, Marcus Morris, Kormats. None of those guys are playing today, Hield or Payne. I will say, free bet of the day, John did send out Philly +4. Now, this line's down to 2.5. I would not bet this game at 2.5. I do not like how the 76ers are playing. That was a number play for John, and he was right. That number's come down 1.5. And I get it. This Hawks team, just 4-12 against the spread. Their last 16 games on the road. Hard to make them too big of a road favorite. As far as the matchup history, 76ers won 4 prior meetings. They won the last 3 in Philly by an average of 8.7 points. Free bet is on Philly +4. I would not lay it at 2.5, and I would look to catch a live at a better price. Personally, do not like how 76ers are playing. I won't be personally betting that game, but that is what John has on that, the +4. Rockets at Raptors. Next matchup here. Toronto. Like Toronto in this spot. The one thing that worries me is a lot of action at the deadline. Before and yesterday, they gave up Porter and Lewis, who really weren't giving too many minutes. But Schroeder, they give up Schroeder. They get Dinwiddie. Dinwiddie gets released. He's an unrestricted free agent now. So I don't like backing a team who has been too active at the deadline. Houston, though, they got some issues, man. Fred VanVleet, he's out indefinitely. And this just comes down to a simple revenge game. Toronto, they go in last week into Houston, get absolutely cooked. 135-106. Raptors, though, they had won the 4 prior meetings. The last 3 in Toronto, just 1-2 against the spread, but they're an average by 7 points. Got to keep in mind, a horrible Rockets team the last few years, so some big, big numbers they weren't covering on those 1-2 against the spread. This is a revenge game. Toronto, Houston, very underwhelming on the road this season, just 5-18 straight up. You're looking at a pretty cheap home favorite here. Give me the Raptors in a revenge spot. Them or nobody in my eyes against the Rockets. Going to be a tough one, though. See how many bodies they actually got. Wizards at Celtics. Wizards coming off a loss to the Cavs. They pushed on us on the full game spread we had in that game. We hit on the second half line. Kuzma and Kispert, they played pretty well. They lost the free throw battle pretty bad in that one. Wizards also active at the deadline. Traded Gafford to Dallas. They get Richaun Holmes back in that trade. And Wizards, not good at home. They lost all 4 on the home stand. I think it's 12 straight losses at home now. But the thing is, they are the second best against the spread road team in the NBA. 6-19 straight up, but 15-9-1 against the spread on the road. Boston Celtics not covering at home right now. They get a win against the Hawks. You had some big performances there from Porzingis, Al Horford, near triple-double. They're just not covering right now. 4-3 straight up, 1-6 against the spread. Their last 7 home games, the one cover in that was a depleted Memphis Grizzlies team showing up with 8 bodies, 6 guys on 2-way contracts. So Celtics not covering. This is a massive number. Would only want Washington in this game. I would wait to see a halftime price. To me, this feels like a game. Celtics are up, 12, 13, 14 points at halftime. You're going to be able to get, washed around on a full game spread, which would be equivalent to +20 or so. Get an extra 2 to 3 points perhaps, and they'll keep it within the number. I think they cover the 17, but I would wait on this game. Feels like a game you're going to be able to get a better price with the Wizards later on. Then we have Hornets at Milwaukee. Milwaukee, they got going at the deadline. So did Charlotte, actually. Let's talk about those trades. Hayward to OKC, we talked about yesterday. And they kept going. PJ Washington to Dallas to get Curry and Grant Williams out of that deal. And then if you're the Bucks, they did trade for Patrick Beverly. He's questionable, gave up campaign. They're coming in on a back-to-back. No Lillard last night. They had no point guards yesterday, really. Lillard, he was out. Campaign, they dealt him. Middleton, he was out. So Middleton probably going to be out again today. We'll see how much they're nursing that injury he had from 2 games ago. All 3 of those guys questionable. Lillard, Middleton, Beverly. They need ball handlers. So they need all three of those guys right now. Will not want Milwaukee unless all three of those guys are healthy, especially laying 14 points. Charlotte Hornets playing miserable basketball right now. 9 straight L's, 2-7 against the spread by an average of 14.3 points. Good news is they covered the last 2 of those, once against the Raptors, once against the Lakers, lost both those by 6. Miserable on the road, though. 3-17 straight up, 5-15 against the spread last 20 road games. They did cover both meetings in Milwaukee last season. This is a game I have no interest in. I don't want to lay double digits with the Bucks, and I don't want to back this Hornets team with the Bucks, who are in a much needed get right situation. If the Bucks, though, are down multiple guards again, no Beverly, no Lillard, no Middleton, no multiple ball handlers, I would be looking to back Charlotte. Maybe live in this game, but would be looking to take the points there with the Hornets. Again, got to wait to see what's going on. Injuries. Then we have some really good Western Conference matchups. First one here is Nuggets at Sacramento. Denver, great game last night against the Lakers. Spoiled the Kobe statue unveiling last night. Jokic and Murray, 53 points, 20 boards, 20 assists combined. Michael Porter Jr., 27 points, shot over 50%. KCP did not play. He's questionable. And you have the Sacramento team who the spot against Detroit was really rough. They were on, 6-7 game road trip. Come back home. They get Denver coming in next, and they have, the NBA worst Pistons. So they got caught slacking against Detroit. Lost that game outright. Sabonis and Monk, big games in that one. Murray, though, just 0 for 4. Fox, he had just 12 points. Bad performance there, but have to think they were looking onto this game. As far as the matchup history, Kings won last 2 meetings in Sac. They got them in December, 123-117. Feels like a little bit of a letdown for Denver. Tough back-to-back with the travel. Kings felt like they were looking ahead of this game in their loss to the Pistons. Give me Sacramento in this game, laying the points. Who knows if Denver ends up resting anybody else. Would be Kings or nobody for me in this game. And then nightcap, Pelicans, Lakers, Pelicans. Coming off a big win against the Clippers on Wednesday. Zion had a very solid game, 21 points, 10 dimes. McCollum, 25 points, shot over 50%. Pelly's playing great ball right now. 4 straight wins, 3-1 against the spread on those. And great on the road, 11-4, 10-5 against the spread, their last 15 road games. Lakers, back-to-back. Not good on back-to-backs. NBA worst, 1-7 against the spread on back-to-backs this season. Ended up not making any moves yesterday. D'Lo didn't play. He still has a questionable tag on him. And Christie, he left game. He's questionable. Very similar to Milwaukee. Lakers down multiple guards, so that could be problematic as well. Saw that a bit in that Nuggets game last night. Got to see if D'Lo or Christie are going. Either way, I like the Pelicans in this game. I mean, they're coming off an easy win against the Clippers. Lakers, hard-fought game last night. A lot of antics before the game with the whole Kobe statue, everything. Just a bunch of distractions. Emotionally exhausting night, I'm sure. Come back around, play this Pelicans team. Has just been chilling for a night, waiting for this matchup. So you do have some questionables here for the Pelicans, Zion and Valanciunas. As far as the matchup history, all Lakers, 3 of the last 4. But a revenge game. Last time they met in season tournament, Lakers absolutely embarrassed the Pelicans in Vegas. 133-89. Give me the Pellies in a revenge spot. Lakers can't get it done on back-to-backs. And that's what I'll be looking at in those games. So that is the NBA slate. My man John has one bet out so far. You got star player questionables that are line movers across the whole slate. Obviously, that could add a few more bets like it did for us yesterday. And that's the Super Bowl game we went through. So big Super Bowl coming up on Sunday. Hope you guys enjoyed the breakdown of that game. Hopefully you guys will enjoy the game this weekend. Have fun at your Super Bowl parties. If any of you guys are going to Vegas or sports books, just watching with the family, whatever it might be. Hope you guys enjoy the game. I hope we get a good game. I mean, obviously want to win your bets, of course, but you just hope to get a good game out of the Super Bowl. Don't want to blow out either side. And we'll see what we end up getting out of it. So that is the Friday slate. That is the Super Bowl Sunday game. 49ers KC. Let me know what you guys think about that game in the comments below. As always, I appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock Eastern. We usually have these up by. And yeah, if you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button and let's make some damn money.